one, maybe if you were to get like a cruise line, maybe you go purchase a boat instead of a helicopter.
It went from like me getting like a small, so I wanted to buy a small island for the viewers right now. I wanted to buy a small island. I've been winning lately, man. I'm a G. I've been winning. But I wanted to buy a small island because you can get islands for relatively cheap. $800,000 I saw one for. 3 acres, island in the Bahamas, which is fire, right? The issue was, in order to build on it, to build infrastructure, to get all the materials there, it's gonna be closer to like $4 or $5 million project. On top of that, getting there is not gonna be an easy thing. You would have to take a helicopter or a boat, which would, again, be really difficult, take forever. So it just didn't end up being worth it. But he said you could get like an Epstein type island.
I didn't say Epstein. You said Epstein. I said you could get an island.
Hey, man.
You said Epstein.
It's good to be back, guys. It's good to be back on the podcast. It's been a minute. I just had a child.
Yeah,
she's beautiful. She's healthy. I got a lot of love in my life.
How much did she weigh when she came?
She was like about 7 pounds.
7 pounds. Wow.
It was really cool. I got Bruce Buffer to announce her birth.
Yes, I did see that. I did see that.
It was by far the coolest thing ever. He did the whole like, it's time. Yeah.
Now. Oh yeah,
literally,
I love Bruce Buffer.
It was amazing, bro. It was some rich people shit. He tweeted at me too. He was like, "Hey, congratulations, Renee."
That's some dope stuff, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, man.
Baby
Thank you,
girl
bro.
is here. Amina
V. Lacad, yeah.
Oh boy, 7 pounds.
And she's growing fast. She's like 8 pounds now. So she's
good Lord.
She's beautiful. She's healthy. I haven't showed her to the public. Never am because people are weirdos on the internet. But yeah, it's cool. It's a great feeling.
What was your initial reaction?
Cried like a bitch.
Really?
Yo,
man.
so I told myself, I'm a man. I ain't gonna cry. Like everyone's like, you're gonna cry when your baby's here. As a man, I was like, I'm ready, bro. I'm not gonna cry. The fuck. She came out, and I think she came out looking just like me, which made me cry. Cause then like, it gave me like, you know how you have those flashbacks in movies of like your entire life? Yeah. So like in that moment, it was weird because I had flashbacks of like my dad and him leaving and all my fucking built up trauma from my childhood. And now I see my seed right here, my baby that looks just like me. And I'm like, I'm gonna be such a great dad to you. I just started fucking bawling, bro.
Damn, so it was like, it was a boo-hoo kind of crying.
Yeah, and like everyone, and what's crazy is like, keep in mind, delivery room's all women. So it's my wife, the delivery doctor, the gynecologist. Yeah. And like a nurse. So she comes out, the nurse and the doctor, they have no attachment to the baby, so they're not crying.
Wait, you weren't inside of the delivery room?
I was there, no, I was there too. I was the only guy though.
I was about to say, like in the living room.
So in the delivery room, it's like the gyno, the nurse, Carol, and then me. Yeah. Baby comes out. The nurse and the doctor, they have no attachment to the child. They're just doing their job, so they're not crying. Right. Carol's in shock. Right. Because she's like, oh my God, I just pushed a baby out of me. She was in labor for like 45 hours. Right. So at that point, it's like, imagine you're in labor for 45 hours, you don't sleep at all. Yeah. Baby comes out, she was just like, it's out. So she's shook. She's not crying because she doesn't even know what's happening. I'm the only one that's like, and like I'm the only one crying. So like in this room full of women, the grown man's like, my baby. Yeah, bro, I look like a bitch in there. And then eventually I was like, I'm like trying to hold it back because everyone's like looking. It's like, yo, are you gonna cut the umbilical cord? I'm like, yes.
Also, they told you, so like, y'all did a dress rehearsal of what to do after the baby comes
so they're
out?
holding it right here, and like they have the cut right here. I'm like, okay, let me cut right there. And like everyone's just looking at me, and I cut her umbilical cord. It was a beautiful thing, and like, bro, the feeling is different. You can't explain it. People always said, oh, you're gonna feel like completely different when the baby's here. I was always like, really? And then sure enough, bro, baby was there, and I was just shook. Crazy. And now we're slowly getting used to it. I'm like easing into it. Right. And fatherhood has been real, bro. But what you guys been up to?
Man, that's crazy. I mean, you can't just skip right past, bawling inside of the delivery room, skin to skin. What was that like?
I mean, it was cool. I felt kind of bad. I was like, damn, like, I don't know. I was like, damn, I haven't showered in like 3 days because we were in the delivery room the entire time. Like,
yeah, I remember texting you like, hey, is she here yet? You're like, nah, yeah, she's still in labor.
Yeah,
the
bro,
message is like 8 hours like, nah, yeah, she's still in labor.
I'm like, damn, my baby has to touch my dirty ass skin. Like, I felt a little weird, but like, it's fine, it's okay. I was like, all right. Man. So it was cool, and like, I don't know, looking at a child that looks like you, it's crazy. Cause you're like, damn, I created you. You're my spawn. Like, right. That's wild, bro.
That must be an unreal feeling, especially mentioning that, in the moment of the, your daughter coming out, you thought back to everything that you had experienced in life? Because now this is your legacy. Like, I think before you're somebody else's legacy, and although you can build your own, this human being is your legacy. So I think that's what also makes it so emotional.
And it's interesting because I've always looked at myself as a very level-headed individual. Like, I'm very jaded to the world. Cool shit could be happening. I'm like, it is what it is. It's normal. This is normal, you know? Like, people get excited. Yo, look at that. I'm like, it's normal. I've seen everything in life, so I don't really, nothing amazes me, right? I've done ayahuasca in the fucking forests of Costa Rica. So I don't really get impressed. I'm very nonchalant about everything in life. But this was one thing that just rattled me. It shook me. I was like, this is a new thing. And like, it just made me feel weird. I'm interested to see how like someone like you would react, because same thing, you're very level-headed.
Yeah. So
you don't really get impressed. You're very nonchalant. Nothing really impresses you. So, and you're afraid of emotion. So I'm curious like to see what would happen. No, it's true. I'm curious to see what would happen. You see your spawn right there in front of you. I'm curious to see if you like, if all that shit would just like explode out, pause, or if it would like, or if you would just still be like, my seed. What's a really like...
The product of my semen.
The product of my semen, yeah. That's a very David way to say. It's like,
probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because I am a very odd individual in emotional situations. I think I'm too logical in emotional situations because even when my grandmother had passed, maybe about like 14 some years ago, I still haven't cried. Yeah. I had to watch highlights of Eddie Guerrero passing his tribute in order to shed one tear and still legitimately, even in the moment, it's like I was crying for Eddie Guerrero. I wasn't even crying for my grandmother.
I can relate to this 100%. This is so funny you said this. My grandma passed away, and I was kind of like, damn, that's crazy. I didn't cry at all, right? I thought my dad was going to die. Didn't cry at all. Like, I thought my dad was dying. I was like, oh, cool. I got on the phone with him. And again, me and my dad didn't really have a relationship, but he was like, oh, be good, because he just had a heart attack. I was like, yo, he was like, be good. Like, I'll talk to you later. And I was like, all right, it's been real, bro. Good night. Goodbye.
Yep.
But then, when Kobe passed away, I'm like, Kobe, I started crying.
I was just in shock. Like when Kobe, I was just, it was almost like no reaction. It's so weird. Like my dad was on his damn deathbed, and he's number one, and there's nobody who I love more. And I'm just there like, damn, yeah, that's life, man. What are you gonna do?
Trust me, I get it.
It's so bizarre.
I feel the same exact way.
So
I feel the same exact way. I think what it is too, though, it's like you don't want to cry for things that directly affect you because you know you got to be strong in those moments, right? So it's like if your dad's gonna pass away or my dad was gonna pass away, I was like, all right, you got to be strong in these moments. Yeah. This is a life's trial and tribulation. Whereas like if Kobe dies, there's nothing attached to me for that. Like, it's okay to cry when Kobe dies or Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, but Eddie died like 2005. That was just like a childhood memory that I could go back to try to pull out some emotion.
But it's okay to cry on that because it's not, you don't have to be strong in that moment.
I've cried one time in the last 15 some years.
Man, I can't hurry up and have a kid. I want to see what happens here. I want to see.
Hurry up is crazy.
I want to see what happens here.
I ain't taking. There will be no shots of the club.
I mean, bro, listen.
Going on at this
you got a limited time on this planet. You got to start popping them out as fast as possible. Popping them out, bro.
Not me.
I want 5, 10, 20, 50
See, 5, 10, 20 is crazy. So you've already begun the process of reproducing yet another one. As soon as she's ready,
we're going again.
Golly.
Baby number 2. Because I feel like the first one's the hardest one, but the second you get rid of that, you're like, all right, we can have another one of these and another one. Because I could support them financially. I'm not worried about that. We can support them and get some help, whatever we need.
But your body's not undertaking the change and the pain. Well, I mean, it all depends on how, smooth her pregnancy situation just so happened to be.
She's good, bro. She's healing. Baby's been here for 3 weeks. Baby's healthy. It's growing. And I think about it. I was like, you know what? It's because you're Brazilian. You were built for this. You were built to breed these. You're like, those like race horses that breed. She's Brazilian. That's like Brazilians are built for that. So she's made to create these things.
You got to make sure your daughter plays soccer. Brazilians are so good at soccer.
Okay,
and mixed martial arts as well.
MMA.
She's got to do something.
I don't like masculine sports because then she's going to think she can fight men. And
but she's Brazilian, so it doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter if she's Amanda Nunes. There could be 100 Amanda Nunes. They're not going to beat Jorge Masvidal.
Well, true, but you could still be a damn Amanda Nunes.
So I want her to soccer's cool. That's a good one. She could be a soccer player. I want my daughter to do some sort of sports that involve discipline.
If you decide to stay in Miami for another 2 decades, it's a perfect situation. Because I think of all the states in the United States, if there's one state that actually cares much about soccer, it'd probably be Miami.
I mean, we got Messi right now, too. I'm surprised I haven't been to a Messi game.
Yeah, every time that I was here that he had a game, I was flying out at the time in which the game started, and I hadn't recognized until it was already too late. So, but I'm going to see him this summer for the Copa America, so I'm excited for that. Funny enough, when I'm going to be in Las Vegas, not only for that Conor McGregor's return, also the first day that I'm getting there, Brazil is playing against Bolivia over there. So I'm going to go to that game. That's going to be fun.
Bro, you have a fun life. You know, I can tell you this as a father. As a father, no kids. You have no kids. You can just travel freely as you want as a father who hasn't left the house in a month. I'll tell you this, man. Enjoy it while you can, bro. Enjoy traveling around, doing as much as you want.
And I'm happy that you mentioned that, because I'm very curious what your day-to-day now looks like now that there's a child that you must attend to.
Well, I think me and my wife my wife is amazing in the sense that, like, when we got into this union, this partnership, I kind of told her, I was like, yo, I got a world to conquer. I got places to be. I got things to destroy. You know, that's like in my blood. I'm a conqueror. So I really hope you don't expect me to be like a stay-at-home dad and just be dadding it up with you. Like, I'm gonna help you obviously because of my baby, whatever baby needs. My mom is here. I flew my mom in because my mom to help Carol with the baby, because I'm not gonna take that much time off of work to help. I got shit to conquer. So we had this like agreement from the very beginning. We're like, hey, I'm gonna give you everything you need. You will never be hungry. You will always be clothed. Whatever the baby needs, baby gets. You need anything, get it. Doesn't affect me whatsoever. But my time is very valuable. So if you need help, my mom can come help. You need this, whatever you need, we'll give you all the resources to do it. I'm gonna conquer the world. So the first 2 weeks, obviously I wanted to just get to know my baby.
Right.
So I helped out a lot. No one was here, it was just me and her. Adjusting, getting used to parenthood. After about 2 weeks, I was like, all right, it's time to get back on my heroic mission. Mom will come over, she'll help out, and then literally I'll wake up, I'll go to my office, I'll just grind it out just like before. So not much has changed. Obviously, baby is always first priority. So if baby needs something, baby's gonna get it. But as far as me doing my grind, it's still grind time,
now,
baby.
Has the dynamic between yourself and your wife had changed to where, like, prior, even in the midst of her pregnancy, when she needed you physically to be there, somebody to lean on or something of that nature, are you still available for stuff like that?
No, because like I said, my wife is amazing because she gets it, bro. She understands, like, hey, there's certain things that he needs to do. Now, if I'm sitting and I'm fucking like watching, like I want to watch a UFC fight, she'll be like, why the fuck are you watching UFC fight? Help me. Right. But if I'm working and she knows I'm working, she just will be like, all right, I'm going to figure this out on my own. Like, I'm not going to contact you unless I really, really need you and it's an emergency. But the same applies with the baby. She's really good at just mothering it up, you know? So she's doing all of that. I handle my thing. She handles her thing. It's a beautiful union. It's a beautiful team. That works. I think that's important. If you're going to find a partner, especially if you're an entrepreneur trying to make money, they got to understand your mission. So my wife is on board with the mission. She's on board with being great. And yeah, it lets me have my freedom to work and do stuff. That's perfect.
That you know you guys are aligned.
As long as I'm not like fucking around and like oh, I'm gonna go hang out with the boys. She doesn't like that. But if I'm in my office just grinding it out, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, she's cool.
Yeah, I think that's important because too many times people go and they reproduce, have all these goddamn kids with people who they don't. You know, either they don't have an understanding between the two of them. There's really no purpose that they're on in the midst of it, and then now you're operating in chaos. Because if they know you're not taking, let's say if you're an entrepreneur, you're not taking your job seriously, and you're kind of bullshitting throughout the entire day, and now there's a newborn that's here, of course she's going to demand for you to be much more present with what's going on, because she kind of knows that you're bullshitting in your time period. So you can say, oh, I'm going to get serious, but if you have no actual track record of being serious, why would she take you serious? But that's kudos to you to still be able to attack and take advantage of what you have to take advantage of. I think we talked about it on a podcast before, but you have to set the expectation of what it's going to be when you get into a relationship or when you form a union with someone, right? Like, what are we going to be doing, like, during this thing? And I think that's what makes it work, because she, like, genuinely, like, understands. And if she understands that I'm a psychopath like that, and that's why it works, that's why it works. I think it's also really good too, like with kids, my personal opinion, I think absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think especially with a kid, if like the videos I see on my TikTok algorithm now, it's like so funny because it's like little girls when they see their dad come home after a long day of work, they're like, oh my God, Dad. And they love like their dad like that because they don't see him that much. So I think absence makes the heart grow fonder in that sense. If there's a dad that's just like a stay-at-home dad and he's like super available all the time,
the kid's gonna be like, oh, I love my dad, but it's not the same as like, hey, my dad's gone, and then I see him like an hour or two a day, and you're like, oh my God, they cherish every moment with you.
It also pays to have a big ass penthouse to where you're in the eastern wing, and your wife and daughter is on the western wing, so they don't see you for a couple of hours, like, although you're still within centralized in the same house, but that's not too bad.
So it's cool, man, it's cool. Anyways, let's get to the real shit that I wanted to talk about. I know the kid stuff is cool, it's all new stuff, but bro, this Drake, Kendrick beef, we did a video, and this shit has escalated. It went 0 to 100 real quick, no pun intended, because that's a Drake song. But we posted a video and we're like, oh, what do you think happens if Drake drops, if Kendrick drops? By the time we fucking posted that shit, they had already dropped like 5 other songs. So I want to give a recap for the audience and for you guys so I can get your thoughts on this, because I'm a big fucking hip hop nerd.
Yeah, and a huge Drake fan too.
I'm a huge Drake fan, but also I'm from LA, so I'm a huge Kendrick fan. And I'm conflicted inside because the rich boss, like, aficionado mafia guy, I like the Drake aura, you know, being the king. I like that. But like the LA, like grittier, like thinker in me likes the Kendrick. So just to recap, here's what happened for the audience. Kendrick dropped, oh, actually it goes further than that. So I guess Drake and J. Cole, they wanted Kendrick to be on that song first person shooter mode. So it's like to unify, like the big 3, unify them. But Kendrick and Drake have had this beef, so Kendrick was like, what the fuck? I thought we had beef. No, I'm not gonna be on it. So they dropped that song without Kendrick. Kendrick drops that Like That song with Future Metro Boomin, where he said, fuck the big 3, it's just big me. And then after that, people like shook, oh shit, shook up the industry. J. Cole responds, feels bad, apologizes. And then Drake finally responds after he finishes his tour with Push-Ups, and Push-Ups is pretty much just talking about like, yo, he went hard, he was dissing everybody. And then he said like, yo, you're getting extorted because your boss is taking 50% of your contract, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Kendrick doesn't respond for a while. So then Drake drops again, he backs to back some, and he uses AI to become Tupac and Snoop Dogg and says, yo, Kendrick, you're letting the West Coast down. You were supposed to be the boogeyman, what happened? He was just pretty much trying to get a response, right? So Kendrick finally drops. He drops the track Euphoria. And this track Euphoria addresses a lot of shit. He talks about Drake as a man. He says, yo, you're not really black. You're not for the culture like that.
Daughter.
No, that was Meet the Gram. So we're gonna get there.
One got you.
So he drops Euphoria, and it's hot. It's like scathing. He's coming at his neck, right? So then Drake was like, he also said like, I don't think you like women. He thinks like when you look at Sexy Red, you see 2 bad bitches, so you're gay.
Yeah.
So he does all those insinuations. Right. He insinuates that he likes little kids. He's weird. So then Drake drops his, and this is what I think Drake was supposed to be like the big bombshell, right? He dropped the song Family Matters. And in this song, Drake talks about how one of the kids Kendrick has might not be his. He talks about how Kendrick doesn't really love his wife, and he's been living in New York, and his wife is in LA. And then he dropped like supposed to be the bombshell. He was beating his wife.
Right.
And he hired a crisis management team to like hide the fact that he beat his wife. But Kendrick made, this is where I think the chess move came into play, which shifted the entire thing. Because had Kendrick let that song sit, everyone would be like, oh shit, Drake dropped a bomb. This is over, right? Even Drake at the end of the song was like, yo, you're dead. Kendrick, like 20 minutes after, had one in the chamber. And the one he had in the chamber was like real, he dissected Drake's psyche as a man. And it was Meet the Grams, and it was pretty much just talking, it was a letter to every single one of Drake's family members, his son, his mom, his dad, his daughter. His bombshell was Drake had an 11-year-old daughter secretly, right? So this, and it was like pedophile allegations, the fact that he was hiding a daughter, the fact that he's a deadbeat, the fact that there's a bar in there, it's like, yo, it's your 11th birthday and your dad's is in Turks popping perks. So because of like all of the allegations in that song, it kind of overshadowed Drake's like Family Matters song. And to make matters worse, right after the Meet the Gram song dropped, he dropped another one, and this one's like a West Coast Cali bop that just doubles down on the pedophile angle. And from there, like, he had made it so that he took away Drake's ammunition. He took all the air out of that Family Matters track, and then now he made a bop, so people are like, it's #1 on the charts right now, this West Coast song. And Drake dropped the response right after called The Heart Part 6, which it's Drake in his like rapping bag saying, he's just saying like, yo, all these pedophile allegations, like, you know what? Oh, he said, oh, we fed you the information like about the daughter because it was fake, ended up being fake. And then, oh, you're doing this, all these pedophile allegations, but was it because you got molested as a child? And people didn't really fuck with that one. So as we sit, it seems like it's over. Oh, and then something happened this morning, crazy. Drake's house got shot at in a drive-by. So it seems like this is going in the Biggie Pac direction, where shit's gonna get weird and violent. By the time we upload this, it's probably gonna have more new information. But right now, where it sits, it seems like Drake and Kendrick, forget the songs, Kendrick's strategy of just dropping back to back and taking all of the hype off of Drake's songs and then doubling down on pedophile allegations that have been bubbling for fucking 5 years, so it's all coming to a head, has essentially overshadowed everything Drake tries to say rebuttal-wise. And it seems like the culture is actually just going with Kendrick. And it helps that one of the songs is like a bop, like people are just bouncing to it, so they're playing it at basketball games. I was watching the Nuggets versus Timberwolves, and during the break, to cut into the break, they have that Kendrick song in the background. Right. Which is crazy. If you got like a baseball team or a basketball team, like on TV, it's like certified lover boy, certified pedophile, and that's like the song that's just circulating around the nation. I mean, how do you come back from that? It becomes the narrative.
Masterful marketing.
It becomes the narrative, bro.
Right. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think Kendrick wanted to control the narrative, and anytime that Drake dropped some, because I think he waited after Drake's first initial response, because Kendrick dropped, Drake dropped, 3 weeks nothing. Yeah. And then bang, 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 bang. Yeah. And he's just waiting. Yeah. So once that Drake dropped his response and then Kendrick within 20 minutes, I think that was all completely strategic. Because
they're like, oh, this motherfucker's on your neck. And I think because of the fact that like it wasn't even the Meet the Grams, like a lot of it's been like disproven, but because it was so out of there, it almost took the air out of Drake's, because like, oh, Drake is lying. Now these motherfuckers are just lying. That's what it sounded like, right? So like no one even thinks back to it anymore. Oh, like what happened? Because Kendrick's next song didn't talk about the 11-year-old child he was hiding as well. So it doesn't seem like that was really a thing, but because he said it, and it was so like, oh shit, it took all the air out of the sails that Drake had with like, hey, you're beating your wife. Because now it's like people don't even like talk about Drake or Kendrick beating his wife anymore. It's all like, yo, Drake's a pedophile. Drake's a pedophile. So like the way he did that was masterful, and like he just took all the attention away. So now he's kind of controlling the narrative. Drake is Drake, but at the same time, like there's only so much you can do.
Right. And you know what's interesting, and it makes me wonder now, because when we had first responded to the beginning of the beef in the episodes prior, we were talking about, man, you know, for J. Cole to not kind of participate, what does that, you know, kind of feel like? Him not being in it, is it bad for rap? Is it bad for hip hop or whatever? Now the narrative has since shifted towards him. At first, it's like, oh man, don't be a pussy. You know, this is what we want to see. You want to see beef. That's what makes rap so good. Now J. Cole having to step back, the populace is now looking at it like, oh, maybe he made the right decision. It seems like now they're starting to cut a little bit deep into each other, and J. Cole is more of a rap purist. He cares more about the craft. It seemed like Drake and Kendrick is going ad hominem attacks at each other left and right. For J. Cole, what are you really gonna see? Hey, you don't got no car, you ride a bike.
It became like a meme. It's like Drake. It's like, you beat your wife. Kendrick, you're a pedophile. J. Cole, and it's like a picture of like a guy on a bike just cruising through the streets. Or like there's the one with a dog with a butterfly in his nose, just like enjoying life. It's true. Like he made a smart decision, because J. Cole would have wanted to rap. That's like what J. Cole does. He wanted to rap. The second he knew like where it was going, is like, oh, these motherfuckers are gonna start like attacking each other crazy. I don't want no piece of that. And I, like as a father now, right, I look back, I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I don't want to invite that drama into my life. J. Cole made the right decision to just step away, enjoy my life, let these motherfuckers deal with it, because no one wins. It's like
nobody does win.
You could say, oh, Kendrick won, but no matter what, for the rest of his life, he's gonna have this, hey, you beat your wife allegations on there. So yeah, people would say, oh, he won the rap battle, but it's like, it's still out there that you beat your wife.
Especially in this current climate. Yeah. In culture. Like back 20-some years ago, you beat your wife or whatever, and it's put onto a track or whatever, people will actually go and they'll be like, oh, well, I guess he's a wife beater. Maybe he's not that great of a person, but I'll just separate him from the craft. Nowadays, you can't do that. Yeah. Whatever it is that you do outside of the craft, it still spills into the craft. Yep. So I think J. Cole recognized that. Like, yeah, it seems as if everybody's pulling out these skeletons in the closet. Maybe I don't want mine to be exposed, or maybe I don't have enough that would be relatively juicy to be involved in said beef. But overall, I think it's going to be interesting. And I'm curious what the upcoming tours will look like, because I think Drake is currently touring.
I think he's done
as we speak. Oh, he might have come to a close with it. Shit. So
and
I
then
don't know.
Kendrick's dropping an album, but that's why it's weird because it's escalated to the point of like I said, someone got shot outside of Drake's house this morning. It started as like what was rap beef and like, oh, we're not gonna worry about this. This is rapping.
Right.
But because you make allegations like that. Right. It's like you can't, if someone calls you a pedophile and then doubles down on it, and then someone's saying, oh, well, you're beating your wife, it's no longer like, haha, like these are fun raps. We're rapping at each other. It's like, nah, these are fighting words now.
And people have friends and family. Like, funny enough, I had watched a documentary. I watched one on Diddy, of all people, but then there was another one that I saw of MC Hammer. Mm-hmm. And in the late 80s, early 90s, MC Hammer was well connected. So Ice Cube had said something about Hammer. They pulled up on Ice Cube. In the Kid and Play, I think it was Kid and Play. They said something regarding Ice Cube. Pulled up on them as well. And MC Hammer was always well respected because he's from, I believe, Oakland. Okay. So he had like the rolling 60s Crips just ready at all times. People are putting in commissions, calling into radio shows. Oh, you're going to be in this city? Cool. You're dead. And then live television, live radio, all this other stuff going on Arsenio Hall, having to deny the claims of being well connected and stuff. Yeah. So even if you think, it's just regular rap beef, whatever the case may be, little did you know, the people who are closest to you, who's ready to ride for you, maybe you might not be willing to go and, slide on somebody, but you got people who will.
It's weird because they're so big. Like, these are the biggest artists in the world.
Right.
And I think the issue becomes like, so Kendrick, he grew up in Compton. Mm-hmm. So he's for sure, like the hood is behind Kendrick. Whether it's Kendrick or not sending shooters, the hood is behind Kendrick. With Drake, it's a little interesting because he's from like Canada, and all of his like mafia connections, it's all in Houston with like Jay Prince and all that. So it's I don't know how this pans out. Hopefully it doesn't get violent, because if it gets violent, it's not good for anybody. Drake needs to just like piece it up. He needs to be like, yo, let's stop the violence. And maybe sample like Many Men by 50 Cent.
No, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
Just be like, I don't know, bro. But it's like
the only way he'd be able to sample it is if he got hit. It would never work if he never got hit. Like 50 Cent's beef with like Ja Rule probably will be outside of what Biggie, Tupac, Nas, Jay-Z to a certain degree, but I don't think anything else will touch that, because 50 legitimately being hit 9 times. Surviving, and then becoming the biggest rapper. Like, come on, and Ja Rule is finished. Like, there's nothing that can top that particular kind of beef.
And I think, I don't know, the one thing I think we did get out of the beef was music, because for a long time, rap music became very like, I don't know, mumble rappy. Like, I started losing interest in rap music. As someone that grew up on rap music, it was hard for me to like look at, let me listen to this new Playboy Cardi, and it's like, I'm like, yo, this is not the rap I grew up on.
It's like people are chasing party anthems. It's just, it doesn't feel, it's not what it was before.
So to see these dudes finally start fucking rapping at each other again, like the two biggest rappers, and they're rapping, like within a week, we got like 6 songs from both of them, and they don't drop like that, like Kendrick drops fucking 10 songs every 3 years. So for him to come out with like 5 songs in the span of a week or two, and Drake to come out with like 4 songs in the span of a week or two, and they're rapping, they're not just fucking like making party anthems. It was good. I think rap, this is probably the biggest hip hop beef in the history of the world, if you look at how connected it is now. So this is what I mean, because David shook his head. Like, I think the biggest would have been Pac, Biggie, right? But the issue is, you don't have social media back then. So like, they drop a rap beef, and it's like, it's hard for it to get around. The only way it gets out is radio. Now it's like, yo, you have connectability, so I'm sharing these songs. I'm like, yo, look what Drake just said. Look what Kendrick just said. We're making a fucking
It gets around faster.
Streamers are talking about it. Like, every single person on the planet is talking about it. It just gets around faster.
And I think Kendrick, legitimate today, I think he had waived all of the copyright claims.
Genius.
For any YouTuber, Twitch streamer, anybody who had reacted to his song, he waived all of the copyright, so it would continually get out there. And that's a good point that you make regarding not having social media back then, because when Kendrick responded 20 minutes after Drake, if this is in the late 90s, you probably don't hear it until you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Right before you even getting ready to go to sleep, phones are blowing up where people is calling each other like, hey, listen, homie just dropped this right now.
Yeah.
We thought we just got done listening to Drake. By the time the track is finished, Kendrick's new one is already out. Oh, let me go listen to this. Now you listen to back to back and all this other stuff. You don't got to spin on a CD or wait for the radio to go play something.
You just drop it.
You're in a situation where everything is at your fingertips. And similar to what I said in the first response in the previous episodes about the entire beef and everything, I think overall, if it is a ploy from the two of them just to go and build up a bunch of publicity, mess around and have a truce at the end, and then maybe do a tour performance or some shit like that, or maybe they have a collaboration, it'd be genius marketing. But I think it's gotten so far to where I don't think it's a ploy.
I think if it was just rap, that would have been genius. Because bro, they did billions of impressions for free.
Right.
All the internet has been talking about for the past however long is just this. So if it was a ploy, it would have been genius. But the damage they've done to each other's reputations at this point, it's like, all right, it's irreversible almost, where you don't want to, like, if you're doing it for publicity, you're not going to go that far. You know, I'm not going to be like, yo, you know what would be crazy? If I called you a pedophile and you called me a wife beater and we just made songs about it, like that's wild.
That's what that'd be wild. That'd be absolute. Because when they first was doing the back and forth, I didn't know where they were gonna go with it.
Yeah.
So then when you hear he beats his wife. Hold on, wait a minute. Oh man, yeah, but he's a pedophile. Wait a minute. So it's since escalated crazy. And I think what the nail in the coffin for everything would be is the individuals in question who are on the other end of the abuse and grooming, they're gonna get asked about it.
Well, no, so that's the craziest part, right? And I think this is why in today's world, it's all about narrative control, and with social media, all the people that they're talking about, like Millie Bobby Brown and all the other stuff, like she's married and stuff, but she was like, yo, stop making weird, it's not weird. They've all, like, all these girls are like, have come forward and be like, yo, it's not weird. Like, it was literally just part of a show, or like, he's never been weird to me, right? Kendrick's wife hasn't said anything at all yet. But because of the way the narrative has been spun, it's so, like, if you were to flip it, right? And I think we live in the world of TMZ. This is all TMZ now. It's no longer just who's a better rapper. They don't look at the raps and like, oh, this is fire. It's all become like who has the most dirt and most shocking things. So I blame Pusha T for that. Because beefs were about like different, and then Pusha T dropped the bombshell and then he automatically won. So now it's about who can drop the most shocking information. But when you look at like all this, if you were to flip it, right? Like, let's say with Drake were to say, oh, Kendrick, you are, or put Kendrick in Drake's position. So Drake, hey, Drake beats his wife and one of Drake's kids is not his, et cetera, et cetera. The narrative will be completely different. So I think because Drake is bigger, or he's hit like pop appeal, it's hurting him more when this comes out. Probably
because he has a much wider range kind of audience, because the pop following that exists there, it's more than just the core hip hop. I think with Kendrick has more of the core hip hop following. Although they're both global, Drake is much more global than Kendrick is, but that's not a knock on Kendrick. But Drake's global audience, it's like more the pop kind of thing.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's kind of what happened to Drake. So
it's going to be very interesting to see what the fallout ends up looking like, and I'm very curious when we'll hear from Kendrick's wife and everything. Because funny enough, on his last,
all she gotta do is deny it. That's the crazy part. She's gotta say, hey, like, he never hit me.
But you know they're going to dig into it. I'm curious how she's going to make the statement. Is she going to like put forth just a statement, written statement? Is she going to address it in an interview? What's the situation going to be? Because I think if they wait too long, then people are going to think Kendrick is trying to coach her or whatever the case. Because that's another narrative spin that can happen. Because the moment that she responded, if she responded within a day, oh well, Kendrick must have told her to go out there. If she waited too long, then Kendrick must have been coaching her or whatever. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things fall out. And I'm happy that you brought up TMZ, because it's similar to what Denzel had said about media. So bad.
I've been holding it because it's so like juicy.
You hold on. We're wrapping up now. But it's similar to what Denzel had said about with TMZ and a lot of different reporters, where people are more interested in being first than being right. So now in music, I think it's become more along the lines of quantity versus quality, where it's just volume, 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 volume. But in this Kendrick and Drake beef, it seems if there's a lot of substance that's into it. So I'm very curious what it's gonna look like moving forward, because we're still in the infancy of it all. I still think we're within 5 weeks of all of the tracks being dropped. I think a total of 6 or 7 total tracks between the two of them. And they're really pushing each other's pen in the studio. So I'm curious what the future is going to look like. For the people in the comment section, y'all could let it be known who you think is winning in the battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. And furthermore, what do you think the lasting impact will be of this back-to-back battle? And lastly, just regarding J. Cole backing out, I think I'm 110% with him. Had it been me and I was him in that position, I'd have probably backed out too, because as Renee stated earlier, and I echoed, I think for J. Cole, he's more of a rapper's rapper who's more interested in the craft than the beef. And with that being the reality of the situation, do you really want to get into a trio kind of battle? Because who would he ultimately align with? Would it be J. Cole and Drake versus Kendrick? Would it be J. Cole and Kendrick versus Drake? Or would it be a damn near triple threat kind of situation? But y'all let it be known in the comment section what you think regarding J. Cole as well backing out of this entire beef. And I'm curious who's going to talk about the situation.
Can you poll in the comments?
Yeah, you could poll. You could not in the community tab. We could poll it.
We should poll. Because I'm curious. I think it might be 70-30 Kendrick, where people are like, yo, Kendrick won 70%. Then you have 30% of people that think Drake won. Again, I'm in the middle. I'm leaning Kendrick just because of the way he executed that. It was like masterful. He also has the song with it broke one of Drake's records, funny enough, with the highest streaming week of any rap song. So I'm leaning Kendrick, but also like the rich person in me, I'm like, man, Drake, if you flip this entire shit, if you look at it objectively, it's hard to call. If you look at it from like the hype, Kendrick won. So, I don't know, that's where I'm at. Where are you at?
I'm leaning more towards Kendrick right now, but I had just mentioned too, I think we're still in this infancy of the beat.
I think it's done, bro.
No, I think it's still gonna go. I think
the second people start getting shot, like let's not rap anymore.
But it depends. It depends on if it was directly tied to it. And on top of that, with that happening, I think Drake would have to.
Low-key, let's say you don't like Drake, it's a perfect time to go, yo, this is, okay, I'm not inciting violence here. If you didn't like him though, it's like low-key the perfect time to do some shit, because no matter what, it's gonna get pinned on the other dude.
Right.
So it's like, yo, like I've had a long-standing beef with Drake, I'm gonna go shoot at his house. They're gonna blame Kendrick no matter what.
Right, 100%. So, that'd be one of the most irrational ways to go and get, try to get some get back or whatever the hell it might be. But truly, it's one of them situations where I think that's one of the reasons why I think it's still in its infancy, because it's been a total of about 6-7 songs collectively between the two of them. But because of that element of that happening, I think that's going to force Drake to have to respond. And then Kendrick would almost have to respond to the fact to say, hey, he's not involved with what just happened. Yeah. Because if many people are going to start to point the finger and be like, yo, Kendrick just tried to get you shot at or whatever. And Drake's like, yo, you try to get me shot at because I'm cooking you in the studio, whatever the case is. Now they're going to have even more reason to go back and forth. It's about to be a wild fucking 2024.
Rap beef is just snitching.
Yeah,
it's not cool. If you go to the cops and you tell them, you're like, yo, this guy shot at me, it's not cool. You go on the beef, you're like, hey, yo, you try to shoot at my crib. Like, all of a sudden it's okay, which is crazy.
The entire career of King Von is just self-snitching. His entire, I've watched
YNW Melly,
so much goddamn documentaries on King Von, and all of the music. It's like, yo, you just admitted to so many different things. Now, don't get me wrong. In the realm of authenticity, he is as legit as they come.
You can get away with it.
Self-snitching is a motherfucking rap.
You can get away with it with rap music because it's like hearsay.
It's supposed to be until you continually dig into it. I mean, King Von was just wilding, but
because I remember this is unrelated, but when I would go to the studio in LA just to like make music, because it was fun. Like growing up in LA, like you're part of hip hop culture. You want to be a rapper, right? I'm not built like that. I'm not a rapper. I don't have no thug crimes in me. But I would be in the studio with some guys that like are in LA, and they would help me, like my ghostwriters, not my ghostwriters, but they were like, yo, you should say some stuff like this. And it was something about like, yo, you get hit. And I'm like, bro, I would never say that in real life. I'm never gonna be like, you fuck with me, you get hit on a song. I'm not gonna do that. So like, I remember that was a real like conundrum when I was in the studio, cause I was like, I don't wanna rap, what can I rap about? I guess I could rap about money and bitches, but I can't really rap about like guns or like stuff like that.
There's a certain sort of image, because I had an old high school teammate who started rapping as well. And I remember, I'll never forget this. This had to be about maybe 7-some years ago, and we'd always go to the gym. Yeah. So I confronted him, but not really confronted him. Like, why are you rapping about this? You're not even, this isn't your life. I'm not to say that you're not like that, because everybody, I think, to a certain degree is capable of going to that, or you just have to be pushed. But in this case, you don't live this life, and above all else, you don't have to. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, you know, there's an image that you kind of have to uphold or whatever. But does that make you feel like a phony? Yeah, doesn't that 100%. Feel weird? Because I understand you want to be able to connect, but ultimately you should be able to just go on the track and talk about your life or something like that. If you're not living this and somebody else is, and you're the one who's getting the play, you don't feel weird about that? Like that, it's bizarre. I don't know. Maybe I'm the weird one.
I think the biggest rappers also, they have to have some sort of authenticity.
Yeah, because it's an extension of yourself, or you're telling your truth. Like if you think about the best songs you ever heard,
I love
people
J. Cole,
talking about their
like
life.
He even dropped a song like recently too. It was on a Metro album. And he was talking about like, yo, I was just a college kid that liked to rap, but like the second people started shooting, I would just start running. Like he says that in a song. I'm like, you know what, respect. Like you don't gotta be the tough guy in order to be like the baddest rapper. If you got a pen and you can rap, I'm with it. I think with Kendrick and Drake, they rap. Like Kendrick, I feel like he can rap that, but even then, Kendrick, I don't think he was out there actually shooting people. I think he was around people that were shooting people.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was definitely
he was
around.
rapping about like stuff that he would see, but. And even Drake raps about it, but he raps like he's a mob boss, which I do think there is some sort of like correlation there. I don't know.
No, even Eminem. Why do you think Eminem got so big? Because it was like a damn near documentary styled songs that he put forth about his real life and what he was actually doing and what he was.
I am a fucking bum.
Like legitimately.
I do live in a trailer with my mom.
It's what made him so big, because so many people could relate, but he was legitimately listening, or I should say living that stuff. I went back the other day, I was listening to his first ever I think mixtape, Infinite, and I was going through the whole thing, and I'm just like, wow, bro. And when you think back to all of his different interviews, everything of that nature, then moving to the Marshall Mathers LP. No, I think it was the Marshall Mathers LP, and then Slim Shady LP, some shit like that. But then 98 to 2000, everything that he rapped about, he was legitimately living. Yeah. Then with his child's mother, ex-wife, his daughter, all that other stuff, you feel it because it's actually him. 50 Cent, you loved Get Rich or Die Trying.
Many Men is literally the hardest rap song with the hardest rap bar of all time.
Yeah, he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing.
I don't even gotta say it. Everybody knows that's the hardest bar of all time because it's real.
Yeah, I'm 9 years old. Hearing this joint, going to school, flexing.
Yeah.
I still have my damn G-Unit tank top.
Like, that's crazy.
Like, when it's done from an authentic place, you can't touch that kind of music. That's why NWA was so popular.
People hear it and they're like, yo, that's crazy. Because when he says that, he's like, because I got hit, because they got hit like I got hit, but they ain't fucking breathing. It's like a bar. Because it's like, that's crazy. Because he got hit.
Right.
And he's standing and like they got hit.
You know what's hilarious about that?
And the way he set it up, he's like, nah, it's clear that I'm here for a real reason. Because they got hit like, because it says something in the Bible too. And the Bible says what goes around comes around.
Yeah. I forget what is. I forget the bar.
Which bar was it? By who?
No. When he mentioned, he said something in the Bible.
And the Bible it says what goes around comes around. Mm-hmm. Someone shot me. 3 weeks later, they got shot down. Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason because they got hit like I got hit, but they ain't fucking breathing. Many men, bro. That's the hardest. Like the way he set that up, like it's just like. Fucking chef's
kiss.
It,
man. He was on top of the fucking world, man.
Yeah. If I'm Drake, I'm having one of my homies just shoot me in the arm or something.
No, don't do that.
It's the only way, bro. It's the only Drake.
Messing around, hit an artery, now you dying.
You wanna win this beef. Depends. If you wanna win this beef, your only chance, Drake.
He gonna end up looking like Vegeta.
Have him shoot you in the leg. Have one of your boys shoot you in the leg, Drake. Have one of your boys shoot you in the leg. Trust me. I'm a marketing professional. I'm a marketing professional. I've been doing advertising for 7 years. Have one of your boys shoot you in the leg.
Don't do it.
Claim it was one of Kendrick's boys.
It's not the Zenkai boost you think it's fixing to be.
And then literally, you drop a song and be like, yo, I got hit, but I'm still here. You ain't never get hit, and it ain't clear. Just drop some bars over a Many Men sample, bro. Wrap it up.
Brother gonna get hit, he gonna bleed out. He's Canadian. They're not built like that. Ain't nobody checking for that.
No risk, no reward, bro. You want to be great or not? This is his literal moment.
He will be great. As a martyr, they're gonna be wondering, why did Drake die by the hand of his homies? Now people going to jail, you done missed out. You don't want to have that.
You gotta go full Drake Smollett.
Drake Smollett is crazy. Maybe he should go hang out by Subway. Maybe there's some big gay black dudes who's ready to go and beat him up, huh? Perhaps that's what the case is going to be. We'll see what the narrative is going to look like. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this has been yet another episode of the Assiduous
Have we been going for an hour?
Where we are breaking down what transpired between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Again, let it be known in the comment section what you guys think about the rap beef. It is I, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the chiseled Adonis. He is a serial entrepreneur, Filipino prince,
tycoon,
Rene Lacotte. And this is We Are
Assiduous.